going on, guys? This is Bruce Matson, your host of the show, Metro Scout Fantasy Football, where we talk about all things fantasy football all year long, 365 days a year. Something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, let your people know so we can spread the word of the channel. This show, we're talking about Gus Edwards. He recently just signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Ravens, an extension, and he's there for a little bit. And we want to look into how good can he be? Can he be fantasy relevant? Is he worth our time? Looking at him just from a basic production profile, 3 straight 700-yard seasons for the Ravens. So he's been productive, over 5 yards a carry the whole time. And this dude's a banger. He's 6'1", damn near 230 pounds. Ran around a 4.5 something 40-yard dash. That equates to a high-end size-adjusted speed score. This guy's got size and speed to go along with it. And when you watch him on tape, I've been watching him on film here lately, and he's a fun guy to watch. He has good vision. He sees the field. He has a broad sense of what's going on. Has good timing with his linemen, good anticipation, and just an overall good flow of what the offensive line and what the defense is doing, and he's able to find those creases. He moves laterally very well for a big guy with pristine footwork. He plants his feet appropriately and is able to cut off those steps, and he spins out of shit. This dude's throwing spinning shit on the field, and he spins out of tackles, and once he finds daylight, he is assertive. He tries to make out as much ground as possible. This is a guy that maximizes all his abilities. That's why he's so good. You look at his collegiate profile, he wasn't very productive. He had a 5-year collegiate career, played at the University of Miami, and then final year at Rutgers. You look at his athleticism, and it's decent. It's not great. It's not above and beyond. Decent size. But everything he does well. He maximizes every attribute he has. Last year, he averaged 3.28 yards after contact per attempt. He had 16 runs of 10-plus yards or more, 10 runs of 15-plus yards or more. So not only he's a big guy, he's a banger, he can run through faces, but once he hits that second level, he can get you some extra yards. He forced 22 missed tackles. That's 2 less than J.K. Dobbins. And last year, he finished as the RB37. He had 4 RB2 seasons in the back half of the year, so half of the back half of the season, he was at least an RB2. He was fantasy viable. Can we get that throughout the entire 2021 season? Right now, he's being valued as the RB37 in drafts, and it's very similar in redraft and dynasty where he's going. He's sharing the backfield with J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is a very talented running back prospect, high-end, top-shelf guy, very talented, good size, good speed, everything you want in a running back. Catches the ball in the backfield, has collegiate production. I like J.K. Dobbins. I also like Gus Edwards. I think these two guys can be a good thunder lightning scenario because J.K. Dobbins is around 209 pounds. He's faster, has a little bit more burst, a little bit more wiggle, where Gus Edwards delivers the hammer. And he can move a little bit. Gus Edwards kind of reminds me a lot of Marion Barber, where he can just deliver a pounding, keep rolling, but he's got such good footwork that he can get away from defenders and pick up some extra yards. There's some differences between the two. Like Marion Barber was a hella athlete, hella athletic prospect coming out of college. Gus Edwards is away from that, but he's not too far off because he has a good size adjusted speed score. But I like Gus Edwards in that realm. So he's going to be playing second fiddle to J.K. Dobbins. Those two are going to be like a little committee with each other. Whether you like it or not, it's not going to kill J.K. Dobbins. If anything, that may be able to extend out his career as he's developing during the early stages. Gus Edwards can be viable in fantasy, but it's more like RB3, RB2-ish while he's sharing the role in the backfield with J.K., and it makes sense. J.K. is going to get the first crack at everything. Baltimore paid more of a premium. The draft capital for J.K. Dobbins is a 2-year deal for Edwards. They like him. They like him a lot. It's a good thunder lightning scenario. He's been good for the team. He plays well. He sees the field well when he's running. He's got good vision. That's why they kept him. Why would you let a good player walk? Why would you let a player that's been good to your team, that's been putting up production, that's been good while filling in, walk? No, you re-sign that guy. You let him play second fiddle to J.K. Dobbins, and you let it go. If something happens to J.K. Dobbins, or if he earns an increased role, like he starts outplaying J.K. Dobbins, because that could possibly happen. He's a bigger guy. He does a lot of good things well. Gus Edwards could be fantasy viable. You're looking at RB2, maybe a little better. I would not expect him to be an RB1 for a long period of time. So in Dynasty, if he starts producing at a very high level, I would sell him off. However, I can't go against him. The price tag's free right now. So if you buy him, there's limited expectations. I would not expect him to be a stud, but I wouldn't expect him to bottom out either. He's a good role player on your fantasy football team. And in redraft, you can draft him with one of your late picks, especially if you're going 0 RB. See what happens. And if you need to cut him, you cut him. Or you hold him as long as you can. If something happens to JK, or if they want to ride with the Gus bus, then the Ravens will do so, and he may be pretty viable in fantasy. But he did have his moments last year. His tape is hella good. He maximizes his attributes. I can see him doing some good things with a full workload. It's quite possible. Averages over 5 yards attempt on his career. 230-pound back with a little bit of wiggle to him. Efficient footwork. Very good vision. Good anticipation. He just does everything correct. And he's just developing. He's been developing these skills over time. I just see him being a good role player for the team who has some fantasy potential, especially if something happens to the depth chart. I like him, especially at this cheap price point. If he starts getting overpriced due to hype on social media, Twitter, then I might be out there because everything's according to value. But I like him still. I want to thank you for watching the show. Sticking along through this rant. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Ring the bell. Tell your homie.